Hello, and welcome to Inner Signal. This is a space for us to find some quiet clarity and grounded insight together. Today, I want to talk about a common experience, one that can feel really confusing for a lot of us. It's that feeling when you understand something with perfect clarity. You feel completely aligned with a new insight. You agree with it, you know it's true for you, and yet, nothing changes. You don't move. You don't act. And you might find yourself wondering, why? Why don't I do the thing I know I need to do? Why doesn't this crystal clear understanding translate into action? First, let's normalize this. If this is you, you are not alone. This is an incredibly common human experience. My message for you today is to help us refine our understanding of this gap between knowing and doing. Here's the key. Understanding does not automatically lead to movement. It just doesn't. They operate on two different systems within us. Understanding is a mental process. It happens in the mind, in our thoughts, in our cognitive awareness. But movement? That happens in the body. It happens through our behavior. It's a physical, tangible process. And these two systems, the mind and the body, don't always sync up instantly. In fact, they usually integrate very, very slowly. Now, when we notice this gap, our typical reactions often make things worse. If you pressure yourself, if you say, "Come on, you know this, just do it," that pressure actually makes the movement feel heavier, harder, and less likely to happen. On the other hand, if you just wait passively, hoping that one day you'll magically feel motivated to act, that movement may never arrive at all. So, if pressure doesn't work and passive waiting doesn't work, what's left? We need a third approach. I call this respectful activation. Respectful activation is a middle path. It means you don't shame yourself for not moving yet. You let go of the self-criticism and judgment. But at the same time, you don't excuse yourself indefinitely. You don't let yourself off the hook forever. Instead, you get quiet and you listen. You listen for the smallest, most honest step you can take. Notice the words I'm using here. I'm not saying the ideal step. It's not the big, dramatic, life-altering leap. It's not the perfect action. It's simply the honest one. The one that feels true and possible for you right now, no matter how small. Often, what's really stopping our movement isn't a lack of clarity. We know what to do. The real obstacle is a fear of the consequences. And these consequences don't have to be some huge catastrophe to feel threatening. They can be incredibly subtle. Things like the discomfort of a difficult conversation, the awkwardness of changing a long-held routine, the fear of losing a familiar part of your identity, even if it's an identity you want to leave behind. Your internal system, your nervous system, is designed to protect you from these perceived threats. And so, it stalls. It hits the brakes. This isn't a failure on your part. It's your system being cautious. But here's the danger. Caution that remains unexamined for too long hardens into stagnation. When our insights keep piling up without any corresponding action, the inner signal starts to get distorted. What was once a clear, quiet knowing turns into loud, chaotic noise. It becomes pressure. It becomes self-judgment. That inner voice that once offered clarity now just sounds like criticism. To clear that signal, to get back to that quiet knowing, some form of movement has to occur, but it must be gentle. It must be respectful. So I invite you to ask yourself this question. What is the smallest expression of this insight that I can live today? Notice the word, live. I'm not asking what you can explain to someone, not what you can declare on social media. What can you embody? What can you live in your actions, in your being today? This might look incredibly simple from the outside. It could be holding a boundary in a conversation where you'd normally give in. It might be adjusting one tiny habit, like putting your phone away for 10 minutes. It could be speaking a quiet truth to yourself or one trusted person. It could even be the act of not making a choice you usually make reflexively. These small movements are often invisible to others. No one might notice, but they are deeply, profoundly visible to your internal system. Your body, your psyche, your soul, they notice when you finally act in alignment with what you know to be true. And when that happens, something amazing starts to rebuild. Trust. Trust in yourself. You might feel a sense of relief, not because your external life suddenly got better, but because the inner friction, that war between what you know and what you do, has started to decrease. This is what alignment feels like in practice. It's a quiet hum of rightness, not a loud fireworks display. And for this, you don't need motivation. Let's be honest, motivation is fickle. It's unreliable. It comes and goes with our moods, our energy levels, the weather. What you need is something much quieter, much more stable. You need willingness. Willingness is a gentle turning toward. It's a soft yes to the next small step. It's not dramatic, but it is powerful. If you wait until you feel 100% ready, you might be waiting forever. Readiness isn't something that arrives before you act. It's something that develops along the way. As you act, you move, you listen, you adjust. And with each step, readiness grows. This is the organic process of integration. So, let go of the need to resolve everything at once. You don't have to have the whole journey mapped out. Your only aim is to respond honestly to the present moment. Take one small step, and then, listen again. What's the next small step? The inner signal doesn't get stronger through more analysis or more thinking. It strengthens through your response. Every time you take a small aligned action, you are telling yourself, I hear you, and I trust you. I want to leave you with this. You are not behind. You are not broken or hopelessly blocked. You are simply standing at a sacred threshold, the threshold between knowing and living. And that threshold is crossed one small, honest, gentle step at a time. This is inner signal, a reminder that your clarity only becomes real when you allow it to move you, gently, honestly, and without force. Thank you for listening.